Real is rare, fake is everywhere. Why do we feel the need to be fake? Why do we feel the need to lie? I don't understand. I think a lot of people feel like they need to lie to get what they want, to get where they want to go, to seem like a better version of themselves to people on the outside. But deep down, I think we all know the truth hurts. And I think a lot of people don't like to be truthful to spare people's feelings. But I feel as if when people do this in the short term, yes, it may be beneficial. Yes, it may spare people's feelings. Yes, you might seem like a nicer person. But in the long run, that's ultimately what people end up resenting others for, is the lying aspect of things. But it's very ironic because when people end up lying, they do it from a place where I feel as if most people think they're trying to be caring and be thoughtful and are trying to seem nicer than they really are. I don't really consider that being real. Consider that being fake. Real is rare, fake is everywhere. Personally, I feel as if everybody as a whole, every single person, I think everybody lies to some extent to either sound better or look better. But I think if everybody was quote unquote real, what I consider real, I think they would be happier. I think they would make the people around them happier. I think it would help people push for change in a better way if they were just honest, especially to the people around them. I think a lot of people like to lie. If somebody asks for an opinion or advice or really anything, I think a lot of people just, they lie to spare their feelings and try and help. And I think a lot of people, they feel too comfortable lying. I think a lot of people don't even realize the fact that most things are a lie to, in a short term, spare people's feelings. For example, when it comes to dating, the whole just be nice, you'll get the person you want by just being nice. Although it sounds good when you say it, but I think we all know that's not quite true. There's a lot that goes into most things, but we enjoy to lie to each other and ourselves to make everything seem better than it really is. But being truthful is half the battle. I think once you're truthful with most things, you're able to know exactly what you need to do to get to where you're trying to go with said thing, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job or an opportunity. I think a lot of people just lie to themselves. But what does that really do in the long term for any of us? I just don't really see a point in lying. To me, it seems like a hurtful thing, even if it's to spare somebody's feelings. And I feel like the truth hurts, but if you really do care and you really do want people to do better for themselves, you would tell them the truth. I think a lot of people cope and they mask by saying things that people want to hear just to get over whatever the point or the conversation is. Just like, oh, I'm doing well today. You could have had the worst day in your life, but I'm just doing well today is just a quick, easy way to just go right past it. That's not really caring and nice to me. It's just fake, and it's everywhere. I think fake is promoted in most cases in the world. That's why I feel like personally, I don't find myself being able to mesh well into society and what's going on around me in most cases. I feel as if I'm an outlier and I can't go back now that I know that this is the reality for most things in the world. I think once you open that box, that metaphorical box, it's hard to go back in and close that box. And I can't not look at everything like that nowadays, no matter what it is. With dating, with everything. A job, with schooling and education, with the price of things. I think these things are all like commercials, like everything. Shows. Even information in a lot of places. It just, none of it seems like it's the truth. None of it seems like it's real. That's why I feel like real is very rare. I think it's a thing. It's still out in the universe and exists among us, but I think it's extremely rare. And I feel like a lot of people either aren't recognizing that, aren't aware of that. I don't know why. I can't not think about it all the time. That's the theme of this album, is the fact that I feel like I think and look at things with a very real perspective based on truth and logic, but it seems like fake is just everywhere and I'm lost in the sea of it in most cases. Maybe sometimes I'm even a part of the fake. I'm not here to say I'm not, but I have felt very isolated ever since I've realized this. So the only way to really kind of feel as if I'm not lost in that fake is to record this album. It's part of the inspiration behind me creating it, is these thoughts with love, with reality and opportunities in the world, just everything. I think everything just seems super fake, and I don't know how to not look at it as such. I can't help but just not be real. I just feel as if lately everything that has been fake and exaggerated has been what's promoted and what's cheered for. I really do hope that that is just a part of a metaphorical pendulum that's about to swing the other way, because I feel lost in the sea of fake. I feel as if that I could be fake sometimes too. I think we can all admit that. But I think admitting is half the battle. I think if a lot of people were more real, there'd be a lot less problems in the world. I think a lot of people would be able to understand what they need to fix instead of just it not being pointed out and acknowledged. I think a lot of people, they don't know what the problem is because people have lied to them. So they don't know how to fix themselves or what to fix or what to look into in improving. I think we can all improve, but again, a lot of people walk around here and they just tell themselves and the people around them that everything's fine, everything's perfect. So they aren't able to evolve and improve in the ways that could be very beneficial to them. And I'm not afraid to speak the truth, because I don't create the reality of what's real and what's fake. I can just point it out. So I don't understand why I would ever feel the need to have to lie. It just doesn't seem like it would really get me anywhere. It would only put me behind in the long run. And I only feel like I should be doing things to push the needle farther in the right direction. I don't know if that's how most people look at things. Maybe it's a select group of people. I'm not sure, but that's how I look at everything at this point. So I just want to be able to spread truth and say things how it is without being a hurtful person and people just taking whatever the message is as hate. I think you can say things in a hateful way and you can say things in a non-hateful way. Certain people hear certain buzzwords and certain opinions regardless of the emotion behind it, and they deem it as hateful. I think we need to be able to speak the truth and say what's real and just not lie to each other. Why are we wasting time lying to each other? People in relationships, they'll cheat, they'll exaggerate who they are to seem like the best option. But in the end, dynamics and relationships don't last. So I don't see a point in existing that way and carrying yourself that way. So I don't know what other people see in acting like that makes them feel like that's what they should be doing. It's more difficult in some aspects when it comes to things like relationships without being a person that lies. But I feel like to find what's real and what's for you, what's truly for you deep in your soul, without looking like you're just trying to accept things to look better to the outside. I think that's what things are made out of, is what's real. Like a house. A house isn't made up of what's not real. It's made out of real materials, real things that you could touch, things that you could hold. Like, we know they're real, we recognize them as real. And we can all admit that these things aren't good for us. It's not healthy for us, but it is fun, and it's things that we can enjoy. Fast food, junk food. I think a lot of people like to cope, and they like to pretend like maybe these things are good for us when in reality they're not. But I think we could also enjoy these things and be real at the same time. We can admit the fact these things are bad for us, but we only live one life, so why not still enjoy them? I think that would be a better way of going about doing a lot of things, like drinking, like going out, like going and partying and having fun on the weekends, or spending some money on maybe some junk food or something that you might enjoy. That might not necessarily be the best thing for you, but it's something that you enjoy. I think if we can admit the fact that maybe they're not the best thing for us, and the fact that we are just doing it to maybe have some fun, I think people would be able to go about what they do in a lot better way. Maybe logically, maybe financially. I think overall, it's easier to go about life being an authentic person, being a person who can help spread truth. I just feel like the direction things are in right now, like there's not much real left, and I feel very isolated because of that. And the only way that I feel like we can gain any sort of semblance of more of what's real is to spread what's real, to point out what's real, to be real and not be fake. I think there's two types of people, and there's circles and there's squares. People who are real, people who are fake. It goes in every aspect of what exists among us as human beings. I'm on the side of, again, what might not be the nicest, what might not be what's going to spare your feelings, but I'm here for what's real. That's the only thing that matters to me. Whenever I am interested in something, whether I have a conversation about anything, like, I want it to just be based on what's real. I don't exist in a world of fantasy and delusion and what's not. I don't find fulfillment in that. And I think it's only damaging to me to be in those worlds. I find myself in them from time to time, and I see how detrimental they are to exist in. So for me, the only way to live and continue to be happy every day is to exist in what's real. You got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with what you want. You got to be real with who's around you. You got to be real about how things are. We have to stop being fake. There's no point in being fake. Being fake, it only destroys pretty much everything in the long run. It doesn't do anything positive. If we want to be the change that we want to see in the world, we got to be real. So we continue to be fake and exist in a fantasy land, it's only going to bring us down a deeper, darker path that isn't going to create a good reality for anybody or anything. We got to be more real. Things have gone so far in the direction of what's not real. It's time for the pendulum to swing back the other way. It's time for us to be real. And we can't be afraid to be real. Can't be afraid to get canceled. We can't be afraid to say the truth. Can't be afraid to be ourselves. I think that's what we really are deep down. And we're not able to be authentic and be real because everybody is so fixated on lying to fit in, to maybe get what they want out of it. I don't really know. I don't understand why people lie. So I feel like if you were to take anything from this album, if I have anything to really tell you, if you're interested in knowing the foundation of where it came from, it would just be everything that's real and nothing that's not. I just don't find entertainment in fake things. I think at one point I might have, but seeing them for what they are now, I'm unable to go backwards and close Pandora's box now that it's open. So with this album, I just wanted to spread a little bit of what I feel like is real. The emotions, the ideas, my perspective, my outlook. Based on my life, my story, the situations that I've been in, I feel like there's a little view. I lost my train of thought for a sec. I was so busy looking at the trees. I just want you to take something real, something that might be a message, might be a feeling. I want you to take something real away from this album. That's really what I'm trying to say. And I encourage you to be real, to say what's real. The truth hurts. Being truthful is real. We should be more real. Why are we so afraid? We're all going to be dust one day anyways. It only hurts. And if you want what you want in life, I think being real is a way to get it and a way to keep it forever. If you want to go around and lie, you might get what you're looking for, but be in fear that what you got probably won't last forever. It hurts. I hope you enjoy this album. I'd like for you to tell me what the best song in your opinion is in the comments below if you've heard it. And if you haven't heard it, I hope you find your way to it. My name is Rare Phantom. Real is rare. Fake is everywhere.